Hi, my name is Aravind and I'm a vegan. And in today's episode, I'm going to explain to you why I no longer consume eggs or any products that contain eggs. Many people in India decide whether an egg is vegetarian or not based on whether the embryo in the egg is fertilized or not. But I want to make one thing very clear. An egg can never be vegan because it involves the exploitation of another innocent being. Whether the egg is useful to the chicken or whether it can turn into a chick is irrelevant. We do not have the right to exploit the hen or her reproductive cycle to begin with. Let us now look at what happens in a standard egg industry in our country. When an egg hatches, there's a 50% chance for it to be a male and 50% chance for it to be a female. Female chicks grow up to be hens and hens lay eggs. Male chicks become roosters and roosters do not lay eggs. So what is the point of keeping male chicks alive in the egg industry? I mean, they'll be consuming more food than the females and will also not be providing me any resources for me to exploit from them to sell for a profit. So the day these chicks are born, they are separated based on gender and the male chicks are thrown into huge grinders where they will be ground up alive. Else they are thrown into huge containers containing water where they are drowned, or they are dumped into huge garbage disposal bags and just thrown out like rubbish into the trash. We crush them, suffocate them, rip off parts of their bodies, we drown them and discard them as if their life has no value, when these animals have never even harmed us. The two mistakes that these chicks made were: one, they were born male, and two, they were not born human, both of which they had no control over. Now, just to prove to you how hypocritical this action is, imagine if I placed a grinder right in front of you right now, and inside of it I put 3 live chicks, and I told you, if you wanted to come forward and put the switch on and grind those babies alive and hear their screams, be my guest. I will pay you 10,000 rupees if you do so. How many of you would be able to take that money and put that switch on and kill those babies? I'm sure most of you wouldn't be able to do it, but let's just say someone does come forward, they take that money and they're about to put the switch. How many of you would try to stop that person? Now, you need to ask yourself, you cannot watch a cruel video of animals being tortured in front of you. If I bribed you with money, you still wouldn't be able to hurt animals. And in fact, if someone tried to hurt an animal in front of you, you would actually try to stop them. Now that in itself speaks volumes about how much you are against animal abuse. But each time you consume eggs or egg products, you are the one paying someone else to put that switch on for you. But you know what? Compared to the female chicks, I think the male ones are lucky because they have escaped from a far more cruel fate that their sisters are about to endure. A hot iron blade is used to cut the tip of their sensitive beaks and toes, after which they'll be crammed into tiny cages where they'll be forced to lay eggs for the rest of their lives so that humans could steal and eat them. Now, the reason why these babies have their beaks and toes cut off is because when they are put in such a cramped, confined situation, they tend to peck and scratch each other in order to get more space. And such pecking and clawing could lead to damage and injury to a chicken, which in turn leads to a death of a chicken, and therefore less amount of eggs are produced, and therefore the businessmen do not make a profit. Now, if you have a heart, I humbly request you to please think about just what this animal's body is going through. She has to go through menstrual cramps and pains on a daily basis just so we could exploit and steal that one object that her body discharges. She is forced to stand in such crowded conditions that she cannot even spread her wings. She is used, abused, and exploited throughout her entire life just because she is not human and just because she cannot fight back. How can we call ourselves as civilized human beings and still continue to support this? Now, being in India, we have all been inside crowded buses and trains where we can't even move. But that's just temporary because we're eventually going to reach home. But imagine being stuck there from birth until your death just so that someone else can exploit something that comes out of your body so they could cook it and eat it? How is that fair? Many hens that are unable to bear the strain on their body due to laying hundreds of eggs soon pass away. And those who still survive hardly live up to the age of 2 years. Due to the unnatural conditions where they live and the strain put on their tiny bodies, they begin to lose feathers and start to develop many sorts of ailments. It is usually at this point that these hens can no longer produce enough number of eggs for the farmer to continue earning a profit. What do you think happens to these hens then? Do you think they're sent to a retirement home? Do you think they at least get to live the rest of their life in peace? Absolutely not. When they are no longer profitable to be exploited for eggs, they are then killed and exploited for their flesh. It is from birth to death a life of suffering and misery. What we consider just to be a snack or just a part of our breakfast is actually a lifelong of abuse, enslavement, exploitation, agony, and neglect for a poor hen. We as humans could do so much better by showing them love, care, and respect instead of hate. We as humans could do so much better by just adding something else to our grocery list like rajma, channa, or tur dal to get our protein instead of eggs. We as human beings will move forward as a species when we learn to stop exploiting and enslaving other sentient beings who desire to live free from pain just like us. And always remember, just because the vast majority of people do something does not make the action morally justifiable. Please do the right thing and go vegan today. Thank you.